I would not be surprised if at number 3 the Giants go Ashton Genty and they go
Ooh.
get this solid running back. They get their replacement for Saquon. They give the fans something to cheer for. They got Malik Neighbors. They got Russell Wilson. They got Ashton Genty.
Welcome to the Fantasy Flow Podcast. We are coming at you on April 21st. It is the week of the draft. Indy's going crazy.
It's draft week, baby. Let's go.
Oh, man, I'm so pumped. Man, we got fantasy drafts like the next week. And, yeah, we're going to find out this Thursday night where all those rookies are going in the first round. And then Friday, you got rounds 2 and 3. And, man, we're stoked. We got quite an episode. We got my mock draft 2.0 with trades. And we got some bold predictions for the draft. I got this fat stack of notes here. I had to bust out the engineering paper because, you know, there's some freaking calculus going on here. Andy, first things first. I got 5 questions off the rip. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Question number 1. What would you rather your NFL team have? 2 great pass rushers or 2 great cover corners?
Pass rushers every day.
All right. Question number 2. Today, who is your pick to win the NFC West?
Oh, gosh. The LA Rams. Oh, all
right, me too. Question number 3. If you could see a game in any NFL stadium for free, where would you most want to go?
Buffalo Bills, baby.
In December or September?
Oh yeah. Snow game in Buffalo, breaking tables, eating good pizza and buffalo chicken wings. I'm all about it.
Shirt on or off?
Shirt on, but wearing shorts.
Right. Question number 4. Deion Sanders or LeVar Ball?
Deion.
Wrong answer. Question number 5. Will Jackson Dart get drafted in the first round?
No, he will not.
Ooh,
man.
okay.
LeVar Ball, he had to amputate half his leg.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
No kidding.
So I'll take Deion every day.
Well, I'm not taking him in a race. I'm just...
Oh, I'd rather be Deion than LeVar.
No, of course. Yeah, Deion Sanders is a Hall of Famer and also a head coach, and LeVar Ball, he was just an overbearing father.
Owns Big Baller's brand.
I love both those guys. I'm just playing around.
Sure.
All right, next up on the agenda is NFL news. This has been a little over a week since we chatted, and it seems like the biggest NFL news is a lack of NFL news. It's like Aaron Rodgers is still unsigned. Kirk Cousins is still untraded. Like, what's going on? Specifically with the Aaron Rodgers news, I'll flip it to you because the Steelers have said that they wanted this done before the draft. Which, obviously, you need to know the makeup of your team. You need to know how much money you have to spend. You need to know whether or not you're going to be rolling out Mason Rudolph week 1, right? Like you need to know what your roster is going to look like. And Aaron Rodgers has still not made a move. He's I caught him on Pat McAfee's show, and he just cited stuff in his personal life has been going on, and that's where he's dedicating his time. But of course, he has time to go on the Pat McAfee show to say that. So help me square this.
Yeah, that's yeah. I was really hoping, I think most of us were really hoping he was going to come out and tell us one thing or the other. Either he was done with football or, yes, I plan on signing with the Steelers, and none of us got either of those things. So,
yeah.
Big disappointment there. Also, I heard something today that I hadn't really thought of is he's probably saw what happened to Kirk Cousins, and he's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not signing with the Steelers just for them to go draft a quarterback in the first round. So I think he's just holding out to see what teams don't draft a quarterback, particularly the Steelers.
Well, that's curious. Yeah, I haven't heard that before. Man, it's just like same thing with Kirk Cousins last year. It's like if Kirk Cousins played well, like that wouldn't have happened. So, like he wouldn't have gotten benched if he had just played well. But like, I guess I get it. I just figure with Aaron Rodgers, wherever he signs, it's for a 1-year deal. But maybe he doesn't see it that way.
Yeah, well, I think it sounds like he wants to play for at least 2 more, which I don't know why a team would ever give him a 2-year contract at this point, especially. Sure, you can argue he played well at the second half of last year, but it still wasn't great. So, in my opinion, I think he's really. I think personal life. Doesn't everybody have a lot going on in their personal life? Sure, maybe some moments it's more intense than others, but don't you? He's not the only NFL player dealing with real shit in his real life, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's not the primary reason why he hasn't signed with a team. It's probably money, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and starting capabilities, I believe, as well.
Yeah. Elsewhere in NFL quarterback news, and this one's a little more juicy, there is a situation developing in New Orleans with Derek Carr. He is under contract for multiple years, and his salary cap hit is ginormous. His dead money hit, like if they were to cut him, is like even bigger than his salary cap, which is crazy. But yeah, just the New Orleans Saints and how they do contracts, it's totally out of hand, and it's terrible. And now you have a situation with Derek Carr where he is suddenly saying in the middle of the offseason, I think, you know what? I think I need surgery on my throwing shoulder.
Yeah.
Have you heard about this, Andy? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have. I saw that notification. I mean, how is this not addressed right after the Super Bowl, right after the season is over? I mean, this is just a little too late.
The Saints season ended well before the Super Bowl.
Exactly. How is this not? I mean, he was out before the end of the regular season, so I don't know. It seems like some draft witchcraft news, but at the same time, like you just said, the way that Saints do their contracts and the players that they choose to keep on their roster are mind-boggling to you and me. Yeah, I've been rooting for Kellen Moore for a long time to get a head coaching spot, and he finally got one. And I'm afraid that just being with the Saints he's not gonna survive there, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. I mean, they haven't even played a game yet, but
True.
Man, this situation with Derek Carr is crazy because he is basically threatening to get shoulder surgery, which would rule him out for the entire year. So some people are reading into that he is basically, without requesting a trade, that he wants out of New Orleans, which is very curious because they've done nothing but just give him a bunch of money. And I don't know. It seems like a good team that's making moves to win now. It's not like they're drafting guys to replace him or doing things to make him upset. Like, I can't understand that at all. But yeah, he seems to be just done with the team. And then after he made that announcement that he was considering shoulder surgery, which would rule him out for the entire year, where he's making $60 million a year, he came out with a half-hour-long video that him and his brother made doing a car review. You know, the Carr brothers reviewing a car that cost $500,000. And, much like Katy Perry last week, Derek Carr strongly recommends that you engage in this ridiculously expensive excursion.
Oh, yikes.
I don't know if it was a Bugatti or a Bentley or something like that. I forget.
It wasn't even a good review. It was a terrible episode. Terrible video in general. Like, where's the production? We're doing a better job. We're killing it.
Oh, man. Yeah. No, it was just like two bros just talking about how cool this car is. And it was just so tone deaf. It's crazy. Like Saints fans are done with Derek Carr. Derek Carr's done with the Saints, and the Saints have no one to blame but themselves and Mickey Loomis, their GM.
True. Speak.
That's crazy. And even before all of this, like if Derek Carr was the picture of health, the Saints were already the most difficult team for me to mock because they're just so difficult to evaluate, and they think they're win now, but we know they're not. And the only other quarterback on the roster now, the only other viable quarterback was that rookie that they had last year, started a few games. So
Spencer Rattler.
Thank you. Yeah, Spencer Rattler completed like 55% of his passes, threw just as many touchdowns as he did interceptions. Didn't impress, but at the same time, Chris Olave was hardly on the field. Wasn't a really fair situation. It's going to be crazy. And we'll see what they do on Thursday. They're probably one of the most talked about teams now because they went from this enigma to, oh, wow, well, if they don't have a quarterback, suddenly now they're being lumped into this Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart conversation. I don't know. It's going to be nuts.
Yeah, I think the Giants are up there, too, on the most talked about team heading into Thursday.
Yeah, for sure. So weeks ago, we're trying to see, what teams are feeling what way about these players. And then when you get close to the draft, it's like 80-90% lies and just smoke screens that the teams put out there, right? So you can't really trust any info that you hear. And then it seems like the truth starts to come out again, maybe like the day before the draft, maybe the day of the draft. That's kind of been my experience with it, at least. So, I don't know. It seemed like the Giants and the Browns were both in the Shedeur Sanders contention to take him, 2 or 3, and then it just totally flipped somewhere along the line where it's like, oh, actually, they're both out on him as a top 5 pick. So now they're going to take Hunter or Carter, and it's just going to be one QB at number 1, and then who knows? So it's like, it seems like it's just constantly changing, and I don't know if it's a smokescreen or if that's actually how the teams feel.
Well, we're getting a lot more than just the Giants and the Browns being down on Shedeur, so I'm starting to believe it. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I am. And some years we see these mediocre QBs get pushed up the draft, and then other years there's mediocre quarterbacks, and like we had that Will Levis year where like there were no quarterbacks taken in the first round. So we know Cam Ward's going number 1, but after him, like, do these guys get pushed up the board, or do we all just kind of ignore them until round 2? Like, there's so much unknown right now, which is why I'm excited to get to our bold predictions for the 2025 draft. And yes, my mock draft 2.0 is coming, but first, we are going to go on record with some bold predictions, Andy. I am going to throw the ball to you because we're going to give 2 each. I wrote down 4 in kind of varying levels of boldness. I didn't know if these were like predictions we're making for Thursday or if these are flaming hot takes, just like moonshots that we're trying to nail. So Andy, how about you go first, and then I'll respond accordingly.
Yeah, I'll set the tone. I'm gonna say my 2 are both of those things you just said. I think it's a strong prediction, and I'm also shooting for the moon. I've said this before. I know I've told you. I don't know if I've said it on the podcast before, but I would not be surprised if at number 3 the Giants go Ashton Genty, and they go get this solid running back. They get their replacement for Saquon. They give the fans something to cheer for. They got Malik Neighbors. They got Russell Wilson. They got Ashton Genty. Flaming hot defense. Offense. They already have a pretty strong nucleus as a defense. They got a bunch of free agents. I wouldn't be shocked. I think it would be the type of move that GM and that head coach would make because they're desperate.
That's really funny. Yeah, I mean, that would just totally complete the Saquon Barkley saga, right? Like, you refuse to give him what was it, $10 million or something, and goes to a division rival, wins a Super Bowl, and then you use a top 5 pick on a guy that you're just hoping becomes Saquon Barkley. Like it's
I
like you could have
mean,
just had Saquon Barkley.
yeah, yeah. I mean, everything of Genty's tape tells you he's going to be a Saquon-esque type of player, a solid cowbell running back, except for the fact that he played at Boise State. Like, the thing that helped Saquon was he played at Penn State. He played in a Big Ten school against
Yeah.
Big Ten opponents, right? That's
Yeah,
the only
how
thing.
many Alabama running backs have we seen go in the first round? Like,
Right.
it is kind of rare to see a guy from one of these other smaller schools. But Boise State is like a total football school. Like
is.
if there was
That's
a
all they
school that
got.
was like an exception, it would probably be Boise State.
Yep, that's true. That's true. But yeah, that's my hot shot to the moon. But also, I could easily see the human factor coming in and saying this is the move we got to do to keep our jobs.
All right. Well, okay. I could just draw a connection like you did and go just a player, team, pick as my prediction. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna have a little bit more fun here. I'm gonna talk about Jim Harbaugh and the LA Chargers. I think Jim Harbaugh drafts an Ohio State Buckeye in one of the first 2 rounds. I don't know that he's ever drafted an Ohio State Buckeye before, but I'm calling my shot that on Thursday or the beginning of Friday, he drafts an Ohio State Buckeye. And specifically, I'm thinking about you have Emeka Egbuka. In the first round, they need a wide receiver. That's where my mock draft 1.0 had them going. And there's lots of other great Ohio State players, too, that they could consider around that space. Josh Simmons, an offensive lineman. You know, he loves offensive linemen. He was calling offensive linemen weapons. You know, Donovan Jackson's an interior offensive lineman that I love. And then with their second round pick, they could be a spot for Travion Henderson and or Quinshon Judkins. And then there's a couple of edge rushers, too, that Ohio State has that they need to backfill for a couple of defensive players that they lost. So,
Yeah, I like the offensive line. I like that type of mentality, that type of thinking, because it is John Harbaugh. He wants to build that wall up for Justin Herbert. And, man, for them to draft either of the Ohio State running backs would just be, with Najee Harris, I feel like Trayvon Henderson would be the better 1-2 punch, because Judkins was kind of the bruiser and Najee can easily be that bruiser. But still, I'm sure they could switch roles, and either of those 2 running backs would be so cool. Yeah, great take.
back to you.
Yeah, my second one is going to be, I'm going to buy the whole Shador dip, and the exact thing that Aaron Rodgers is holding out for is exactly what's going to happen. I think Shador goes to Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he drops all the way down to the 20s, maybe even past the Steelers, but he's going to at least fall to them. I just got a notification before we started recording that the Steelers, the headline is they're completely out on Shador Sanders. They think they're all head over heels over Jackson Dart. I think that's the smokescreen that we're seeing, that we know is out there. I think Tomlin is all about this guy. What better fit in my mind for Shador is the Steelers. I think that's the best spot for him. Artie Smith, Dion knows he's going to a great organization, a great owner, a great head coach, etc. That's my bold prediction.
Yeah, I love it. If I had to just draw like team player pick, I think it's a slam dunk. Detroit Lions take Donovan Ezuraku, my favorite edge rusher, at pick number 28. They clearly need another edge rusher opposite Aiden Hutchinson. We saw that last year, right? And this guy is the most win now edge rusher. Like, he is a final product. So that's just a match made in heaven for a Lions team that's hoping to compete for a Super Bowl right now. They need him to produce right now. Yeah, I just love that fit. But I got another one that I'm going with here. Okay, this is a bold prediction. There's been some chatter around the Philadelphia Eagles and their tight end Dallas Goedert. Okay, his contract is just such that it was just backloaded from when he signed it. It just was one of those contracts that the money just gets bigger and bigger as the years go on. And Dallas Goedert, he has too much guaranteed money to cut, but he also has too much money on the books that they're kind of wanting to move on and see what they can get for him. They just won a Super Bowl together. His value is never going to be this high again in the rest of his career. So I think on draft day, Dallas Goedert gets traded for a package of players and picks. And if I had to pick a team, which I'm picking a team because this is bold predictions, I think he gets traded to Jim Harbaugh's Chargers. Because I think they're going to miss out on his boy Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren. They're both going to be gone by the time the Chargers are up in round one. And they're going to trade for Dallas Goedert, get themselves a nice little do-it-all tight end.
Yeah, I was thinking them or the Patriots. That was another
that's
team that came to mind.
too.
Yeah, I mean they could. Yeah, they have Hunter Henry, but they could easily use another solid tight end, well, better than Hunter Henry for sure.
Yeah, and maybe we even see Will Dissly go the other way if it is the Chargers. I don't know though, because his contract isn't small. But yeah, no, that would be super interesting for fantasy football too, for the Eagles and for the Chargers.
Sure.
But man,
Sure.
I'm excited to get into it. What do you say? Should we jump into the mock draft?
Let's do it, baby.
All right, guys. Fantasy Flow mock draft 2.0 with trades. Here we go. Tennessee Titans on the clock. Okay, no trades here. We're going Cam Ward. Number 2, and we talked about this earlier. This was like a month ago. It was like Shedeur Sanders is a Cleveland Brown, but
Right.
recent news is suggesting that like maybe that's not the case. Maybe they're just going to go best available. Teams aren't in love with Shedeur Sanders. I've heard him described as like a guy who's like just good at everything, but like he doesn't have any one trait that really stands out as being like, well, that's why you draft him top 5. You know, it's like he's accurate, he's tough, but like so are a lot of guys. You know, I don't know. He's not a physical freak. He's not just outrageously accurate like a Joe Burrow or anything. So I see him falling out of this top 3. And just to clarify, this mock draft, this is like a what I think's gonna happen mock. Like I'm trying to get these right, and I'm also injecting some trades in there because I think there's gonna be trades, but I don't hope to get those right. But we're gonna have some fun with it, and we're gonna try and be as predictive as possible here. Pick number 2 is Travis Hunter.
Yes.
Pick number 3, I'm going Abdul Carter.
Okay.
There's been a lot of talk about the Giants and Shedeur Sanders. I read a headline said, "Oh, no team has done more homework on one player than the Giants have done on Shedeur Sanders," and I just don't know what to make of that. I think he slips. Yeah, that's where I am, and that's where I think NFL teams have landed as well. New England Patriots, they could be a wild card in this whole thing. I haven't heard a whole lot of smoke. I mean, you know, it was interesting when we thought either Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter could fall to them. Now it's sounding like that's not going to happen.
Right.
So I'm going to have them taking a tackle. And I'm going to throw in Armand Membu here.
Yep.
It's either him or Will Campbell. You'll see Will
I was
Campbell
gonna say,
mocked
I
at
think
4 a
it's-
lot of places.
Yeah, I think it's Will Campbell there, but yeah, same position.
Could be, yeah. I mean, I think some teams are a little spooked by his T-Rex arms. Did you hear about that?
No.
Oh, yeah. His arms, like, they measured shorter than what you would hope for, like, a top 10 left tackle. Like, maybe defenders could push him before he could push the edge rushers.
Nah.
No, I mean, yeah, the college tape speaks for itself. Like, I don't.
Sure.
He's not going to fall far. Spoiler alert.
Yep.
All right, number 5. We're keeping it the same as my mock draft 1.0. Mason Graham.
Yep.
All right, pick number 6. The Raiders are on the clock, but not for long because we have a trade.
Oh, the first trade to the Raiders.
So the Raiders get a call from the Chicago Bears, who sit at pick number 10, and the Bears are going to trade up 5 spots to get pick number 6. And to get pick 6, they're going to have to give up their second round pick, which is the 209. But just 5 spots for an early second round pick. The Bears also get back a 4th round pick and a 6th round pick.
Okay.
And so the Bears are going to part with the second round pick. They get some later picks to kind of make it work. But really, they're moving up to pick 6. And they're fine with that because, A, the Bears have an extra second round pick in this year's draft. So they got some money to play with, so to speak. And B, because they're going to use it on Ashton Jeanty, one of the best players in the entire draft.
Wow. Okay.
And the Raiders are doing it because they have a lot of needs, not just running back. They have a lot of needs to address. Wide receiver being one of them. Running back, yes, is one of them. They have no corners who can cover right now. Like their defense is kind of a mess. I like their defensive front, but their secondary is just a perpetual mess, it seems like. So Ashton Jeanty does not go to the Raiders. Instead, he goes to the Bears.
Sure. That makes sense.
So year 1, probably a split between him and Swift, and it's going to be frustrating for fantasy for redraft. But I think after that 1 year, Swift is done in Chicago.
Sure. Okay. What about the Jets?
The Jets, they're taking Will Campbell.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So at pick number 8, the Carolina Panthers, again, this is the same as my mock 1.0. They're going to go with Jalen Walker, who, by all accounts, is the most dynamic, explosive pass rusher / linebacker in the draft outside of Abdul Carter. And they need help on defense.
I kind of see them going wide receiver there, but yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I'm just going based off of what I'm hearing, with my sources, what I'm reading. And, I think they go Jalen Walker, but we'll see, man. New Orleans Saints, I mean, what do you do? What do you do? This is the pivot point of the whole draft. And I'm gonna give them Sanders.
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, they could literally do anything, and it wouldn't shock us, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, because it's just like they need almost everything, and there's a lot of good players available. The Derek Carr situation is a total mystery, and I think Mickey Loomis, their GM, the way he just plays to win now, regardless of the consequences. So if there's a chance that he doesn't have Derek Carr for a whole season, he's gonna get another quarterback. I think he's just gonna reload. And getting Shedeur Sanders, that's gonna bring cameras. It's gonna put butts in seats.
Yep, that's a good way of saying it.
All right, so this shows the Bears being on the clock, but remember it's the Raiders because of that pick, that trade. So the Raiders now at pick 10, they're gonna take the top wide receiver on the board, Ted McMillan from Arizona.
The first wide receiver. Nice.
Well, I guess it depends on how you feel about Travis Hunter. But
sure, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like 6'4". Like the dude does it all. He puts up the numbers. His film, like everyone loves Ted McMillan, and even the people who are down on him, they still have him as like a first round talent. Like it's just a matter of where he stacks up compared to all the rest of these players who play a different position, honestly. So they fill a need and they move back, adding another second round pick. San Francisco 49ers. This is a pretty drastic change from my first mock, because I was doing kind of what I would do if I was them, kind of what makes sense to me personally. But now this mock is based on what I'm hearing, and I'm trying to make those connections with my little red yarn, between players and teams. And I think that the Niners love Walter Nolan. They're either going to clog up the middle, and they're going to really bolster this run defense they have. Walter Nolan is a 49er. This was a very popular Ashton Jeanty destination. You remember that a month or two ago? It was like no one could mock them anywhere else than no one could mock Ashton Genty anywhere other than Dallas.
Right.
And now it's like there's no way he's getting to pick 12. It's just kind of funny how that works. But the Cowboys are still going to go running back. Might be a little early, but I don't know. I think about Jahmyr Gibbs when the Lions just like pulled the trigger in the first round, and they're like, yeah, like so what? And then it turns out that was a great pick. I think this could work out similarly. They're going to take Omarion Hampton here at 12, because I'm hearing that a lot of teams have those guys in like a similar tier. So why not?
Yeah. I think that pick makes the most sense.
All right, and then in mock 1.0, I had the Dolphins having fun and taking a tight end, but just realistically, their offensive line is so bad. I think they got to go all O-line here. And, I have them taking Kelvin Banks Jr. out of Texas. I think he's the best available. Josh Simmons has some injuries. How healthy he is right now is kind of up for debate, but Kelvin Banks, he's just so consistent and he's healthy, and it's just kind of a slam dunk for the Miami Dolphins, which leaves the top tight end, Tyler Warren, to the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, yes.
Other teams are calling on the phone. They're trying to move up, and the Colts are not picking up because they have a massive need at tight end, and they're slapping 5 as they put the card in for Tyler Warren.
Heck yeah. Love that pick.
All right. This next pick, the Atlanta Falcons, they do pick up the phone. And who's calling? It's the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are trying to make a move. They're all the way back at pick 30 in the first round. And they're trying to move up 15 picks to get pick 15. And they're going to give Atlanta their second round pick, so the 30th pick of round 2, and a 5th round pick for this pick here, pick 15, and they also get a 4th round pick back. So a little pick swap in like the mid rounds, but really they're giving up a 2nd round pick to jump all the way up here and select a player that they think is a difference maker right now who can get them over the hump, and that is Mike Green from Marshall, the edge rusher who led college football in sacks last year. The Bills, they went out and they signed not Nick Bosa, but Joey Bosa, which was definitely much needed. They need help on pass rusher, and I don't think they're done. I think they get Mike Green on the other end of that line, and they're going to be just a terrifying team.
I wouldn't be surprised if some of that trade would include next year's second round or next year's 3rd round pick. I think that's going to be a big surprise we're going to see is teams that do want to trade up, they're going to give up next year's picks in return.
That happens all the time. That's very, very common. It's crazy. This is like the first year. I think I said this in a prior episode. This is the first year that every team has their own 1st round pick, because every other year before that, there have been moves like this. But yeah, so when I was putting together these trades, I wasn't thinking about future years. I didn't include that, but I could absolutely see that. That's almost more realistic than what I'm putting together. Even though all the trades that I am putting together, which you'll see on the screen if you're watching on YouTube, they all went through a trade calculator as being fair. Or if anything, they're favoring the team that's trading down. That's kind of how where I lean, because you're going to need to incentivize the team to accept your trade. You know, the one dialing the phone is going to need to pay up a little bit. It's kind of how I see it. All right, so we're back. Arizona Cardinals, pick 16. I don't think it's realistic that this player falls this far, but I just couldn't find a good spot for him. Will Johnson is still available. Besides Travis Hunter, probably a consensus best cornerback in the whole draft. He falls to the Cardinals. The Cardinals are slapping 5. And, he goes there at 16. It's going to be crazy if he falls at 16. Like, everyone's going to be talking about how that's one of the biggest steals of round 1, if that happens. Kind of like Christian Gonzalez went to the Patriots around the same spot that year. Yep. And everyone was just talking about him top 10, and it just didn't work out that way.
Sure, I agree. I would totally agree with that statement of what a steal.
Cincinnati Bengals, They have lots of needs. They got that wide receiver position shored up. That's not one of them. They got the quarterback shored up. That's not one of them. Pretty much any other position they could go.
Yeah.
But in this mock, you know what they say: hope for the best, prepare for the worst. In this mock, I'm preparing for the worst, and I'm prepared for the Cincinnati Bengals to address that O-line, and they're gonna totally snipe the Seahawks, and they're going to take Gray Zabel, tackle turned interior O-lineman that everyone has connected to the Seattle Seahawks. The Bengals are going to take him one spot ahead.
No, they gotta go defense there.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay.
And then the Seahawks, they're going to claim that was never their plan, and they're going to lie to everyone. But really, they're scrambling, and they're looking at their board, and their hair's on fire. Oh my God, what do we do? We only have 8 minutes, 7 minutes. Oh my God, what do we do? They turn in the ticket, and they select the wide receiver who only had 5 good games in college, Matthew Golden from the University of Texas.
Ah, dang it.
Were you hoping for a different receiver?
Yeah, you were kind of hovering a bouquet right there.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, yeah, double Ohio State, let's go.
No, not quite. Sorry.
All right, I guess we'll suffer with Matthew Golden. Dang it.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They stick and pick, and it's the player that I had mocked in 1.0. I mean, this is as confident as I feel about a pick in the first round. It's Jihad Campbell, the top linebacker in the draft. Just such a perfect fit. Like that, they have a cornerstone of their team, linebacker, like 36, going on 37 years old right now. Levante David.
Yep.
Just a perfect,
super old guy.
Yep. Perfect replacement there.
I agree.
Pick 20, Denver Broncos. They signed Evan Ingram, but I think that was just a one-year deal. I don't think they're done. I think the Broncos go tight end Colston Loveland.
Oh, that would be huge. That would be huge for that team. That's exactly what they need. That's exactly what they don't need, but do need at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of a luxury pick, right? But at the
Yeah.
same time, you can see him and Bo Nix just making magic for years to come.
Right.
Sean
right.
Payton, he loves that sort of Jimmy Graham, like pass catching first tight end that Colston Loveland
Totally.
seems to be. I was looking at some stats, and Loveland actually was the receiving yards leader in that game that Michigan beat UW in the national championship game.
Oh, of course.
And Jim Harbaugh's got to be thinking about that. And he pretty much
Sure.
gets sniped, just 2 picks above the Chargers, who have a huge need at
Sure.
tight end. So another wrinkle there. But really, back to your featured programming, we still have the Steelers on the clock, and the Steelers haven't signed Aaron Rodgers yet. The Steelers are going to go Jackson Dart before any other team like the Browns or the Giants have a chance to trade up. The Steelers take him right here, 21. Don't even have to move. They just take him.
Sure. Makes sense.
All right. The Chargers. I know I said earlier that Jim Harbaugh was going to have to sway from his tendencies, and he was going to take a Buckeye, but that's not what this mock has, not in the first round at least. He's going to take interior defensive lineman, all 340 pounds, Kenneth Grant from Michigan.
Ooh, yeah, probably. That makes the most sense.
That's probably the most Jim Harbaugh pick.
Yeah,
that you could make.
yeah. That
And
makes
he's still on
sense.
the board. Michigan guy, still on the board at pick
Right.
22.
Right.
Slam dunk. Packers.
They need wide
I think I had them
receivers, it
taking
says.
Emeka Egbuka last time. I don't know. It's pretty much a coin flip between these two, but what I'm just analyzing with the Packers' current wide receiver core, Emeka Egbuka might be a little too much just overlap with Jaden Reed, kind of that short slot guy who's really quick. I think Luther Burden is just a totally different cat and would just bring something different to that receiving core. just electric speed, end arounds, different routes you could use him in combination with. So I'm giving the Packers Luther Burden.
I don't know why they say they need a wide receiver. I wouldn't go wide receiver there if I was the Packers.
What would you do, like defense?
Yeah, I like how they say edge rusher, cornerback. Their secondary is kind of a misjumbled shit show right now. I mean, you're getting good value there at the wide receiver spot, but I just don't think that team really needs it. They've have a bunch of young wide receivers. Why add another one? But yeah,
They have receivers and they're young, but like, how good are they? I think that's the question.
Well, yeah, they keep on throwing them all out there at the same time, and they can't figure out who the best one is.
I'm with you. Yeah, they're not consistent. I think if one of them was really consistent, then it'd be a little easier to sort out. But
that's true. Okay.
All right, so the Vikings are on the clock here. Pick 24. And we have another trade. Another team is calling the Vikings. The Vikings answer, and they work something out. That other team is the San Francisco 49ers. They're back. The 49ers, here's the deal. They have 2/3, 2/4, and 2/5 in this draft. The 49ers do. So they have more ammo than like any other team. And I see the 49ers in kind of win now mode. They have all these aging veterans like CMC, George Kittle. It's like how much more of their primes do they have? Other people outside of San Francisco are going to say that their Super Bowl window is closing or has closed as soon as they give Brock Purdy that contract. I think they make some moves. They try to trade up in the draft, and they try and get as many starters out of this draft as they can to make an immediate impact. So the 49ers are going to get this pick. They're going to trade their second-round pick and a fourth-round pick to the Vikings to move up, and they're going to select Jahdae Barron, cornerback out of Texas.
Yep, makes sense.
Back to pick 11, they picked Walter Nolan, so they have a new starting interior defensive lineman and a new starting outside cornerback, which is another big value in this mock compared to a lot of other mocks. The experts that I listen to, they're pretty split on Jahdae Barron. Some guys, they don't even see him as a first-rounder. But most of the mainstream media views him as a top 3 corner in the draft.
Gotcha. Okay. I like it.
All right. Houston Texans, they traded away and or cut their entire offensive line. So they're going to go Josh Simmons here.
I mean, what value at the 25th pick to pick, arguably a top 3 tackle? That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, based on tape, top 3 tackle. But yeah, there's some injury concerns, and that's why I think Simmons would still be there if he was still there.
Sure.
L.A. Rams. This is the home for Emeka Egbuka, who's that classic slot receiver, just fills right in with the void that Cooper Kupp left. How would that make you feel?
Oh, I would hate that so much because just like when Cooper Kupp went there, it's like I want the player to succeed, but I want the team to fail, and those don't go hand in hand. So that would be really upsetting if that's actually where they go.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, these next 2 picks, these are just stick and pick, same as my 1.0 mock draft. Ravens take Malachi Starks, shore up that the pass defense. Lions, they take Donovan Ezeraku, just setting them up, knocking them down. Pick 29, what's this? It's the phone. What's going on? There's another trade. The Commanders at pick 29, they're going to make a trade with your Seattle Seahawks, and the Seahawks are going to give up pick 52, so one of their 2 second-round picks, and they're going to jump all the way up back into the first round, and they're going to give up like a 5th and a 7th as well to make it worth their while. And the Seahawks, they're going to take, oh boy, I got to scroll quite a ways. They're going to take my favorite lineman, Donovan Jackson from the Ohio State. because they had to kind of panic pick a wide receiver earlier, and now they leave Thursday night. They can rest easy because they got a wide receiver and an offensive lineman in round 1.
Let's do it, baby. I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. All right, so here, pick 30. This is not the Bills. This is the Falcons because of that trade from earlier. And the Falcons, lots of people think that their top team need is edge rush. And they've tried to address it in the past. They probably would have taken an edge rusher at 15. Now they're here at 30, and there's still a really nice edge rusher on the board. They're going to take James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee. He is that smaller edge rusher with just scary speed, and he's just going to whip around the edge. And, I think that is something that the Falcons defense needs is fear. They haven't been scaring opponents.
Sure. Yeah, especially on defense. Yep, I agree.
The Chiefs get an absolute steal here. I don't know if this this software considers Tyler Booker an interior guard, and that's where they go because they have to replace their all-pro guard that they lost. Yeah, they had some real attrition there on the offensive line, so that's an easy pick. And then finally, the Eagles. They're taking a Georgia Bulldog.
Yep.
They're going with Mykel Williams, who's kind of a linebacker, edge, hybrid. Never really put it together in college statistically, but Georgia, they just rotate their defenders in and out, so you're not really going to see the same production that you would see from other colleges. They're just so stacked, and these guys are NFL talents. They don't need to play 90% of the snaps to show teams that. Right. So typical Howie Roseman takes his Georgia Bulldog. Yeah.
They draft the guy to replace Bryce Huff, the guy that's never played for them, that they went in signed in free agency.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. So that was that. Those are my predictions. We're going to see how many I get right, how many I get wrong.
Okay. Over under on how many you're going to get right is going to be at like 8.
Oh my goodness, that would be awesome if I got 8 picks right.
That's the line.
Okay, I'm going under because you know how it works. You get 1 or 2 wrong in the top, the top 8 to 10, and then it's just a domino effect from there. You get everything wrong. Yeah,
I mean, at 8 is a fourth of the picks correct, and I feel like you've done a lot of research, so I'm giving you a high over under line, and if you're going under, I'll go over. Hell, screw it.
I appreciate that, Andy. Yeah, no, it's just a matter of when I get the first pick wrong, because it's easy to nail the very top of the board. So it's just when does it start to unravel?
Sure. Makes sense.
All right. Well, unless you had anything else to add, I'd say we call it.
Nope, that's good. Let us know where Austin is going to be wrong, where he's going to be right, and over under 8 picks. Let us know, everybody. Yeah,
tell me why I did your team dirty and why I know nothing about your team. That would be awesome. But we'll you won't hear from us until we're probably talking about round 1 on Thursday.
Round 1 going live, baby.
All right. See
ya.
Thanks a ton for making it to the end of the episode. You're a real one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's a free, easy way to support the show, and it really helps us out. And leave us your comments down below if you're on YouTube, or send in your questions at thefantasyflowpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time.